yourself?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Chuck from Chuck's Raw Reviews. I'm an editor and writer of comic books, and I love talking about indie comics, so that's what brought me here today.
All right. You want to tell them what book that you reviewed?
I reviewed Caliber's The Shepherd, which was done by Andrea Molinari, his son Rob Molinari, and I think the guy's name is Rob Shore. I think that was the artist. I'm trying to track it down, but my pages are not moving very quickly. But yeah, and it was I enjoyed it a lot. Do you want me to go straight into my review, or?
Yeah. We're gonna send it. Then I'll tell them what I reviewed after you take care of yours.
Okay, cool. Yeah, all right. So I did The Shepherd, and it's I guess it's they've had several graphic novels now. So this one, it was the first one. It was called Apokatastasis, which is actually like a Greek word. You can tell that that Andrea and probably Rob too, they really know their history and their I don't know, their theology, so to speak. Because basically the idea is that the shepherd is a man who he's a father, and he was a theologian in his regular life, and his son ends up dying tragically, and so he moves on, and he's trying to figure out, like, why this happened and all that kind of stuff. And excuse me, he ends up wanting to find his son and believing that his son can't, I guess, move over to the other side. So he actually commits suicide in order to help his son move over. And so he ends up, going over to the other side into this kind of pocket realm called the Seam, which is basically like, it's almost like a purgatory between this world and the next world. And he meets up with his own father, who gifts him with this necklace that's actually like a staff. I think it's called the Staff of Truth. And so that kind of becomes his weapon. He has kind of like a Ghost Rider effect. It can inflict people with the truth, and of course, he can also sort of, like, do damage to people and whatnot. But that any damage that he does to anyone else also takes that pain, kind of hurts himself as well. So it's like, because he's inflicting damage, it's coming back on him as well. So there's some really cool, like, duality to it and all that kind of stuff. And of course, you think that it's about him hunting his son, but actually he kind of gives up on that pretty quickly and just goes full vengeance, and just decides that, I don't know where my son is. I don't even know how to find him. I'm gonna go and try to track him down. I will say that I wanted him, like, first off, as a father who has, I haven't lost any of my children, but of course, tough times have come and all that kind of stuff. I felt like he handled the family unit very well. I felt like they did really well with that aspect of it. There was some little things that did kind of get to me. Like, there was this very much Cats in the Cradle. You've ever heard that song before? Cats in the Cradle.
Don't think I've heard that one.
Okay, so the idea of Cats in the Cradle is, I can't remember the guy who did it anymore. Great song, but the basic idea of the Cats in the Cradle is that the father has a son, and then he's always like, "Oh, don't worry, son. We'll hang out at another time. I need to go make money, and I need to make your life better, and all this kind of stuff." And so he keeps doing that until eventually his son is a grown man who has his own family. And now he's retired, and he's like, "All right, son, let's hang out." And he's like, "Yeah, sorry, Dad, I really can't. I'm too busy doing all this stuff." And it's like, man, I made myself so busy that I didn't even get to spend any time with my son because of me. And so It's got that feel. It's very similar in that aspect. And so that kind of explains why he sort of gave up on his son and just went for the vengeance. But I was disappointed. I really wanted him to kind of learn that a little bit sooner. There was some moments I would have loved to to have seen and to have felt a little stronger. I did notice right away that there wasn't an editor on the book. And I have to say, as soon as I see that there's not an editor on the book, I get a little worried. Andrea, and this is, I'm not calling him out, he's an excellent editor from what I've been told.
Oh, yeah.
And he's terrific. But I feel like even as an excellent editor, I have editors. People go over my stuff to make sure that everything works. Maybe, you know, I'm not missing anything. And so I did feel like looking over this, there was some moments that I feel like kind of got glossed over that he could have played with more. And having another set of eyes could have helped. It is still an excellent book. I absolutely enjoyed it a lot. I love the idea of the series and where it's going from here. But again, you know, there was just, like I said, some missed opportunities.
All right. And I read Infinity. I don't think it was Infinity Dante Inferno story. I think that's the full name. I don't know, but I know the name is Infinity. And kind of like you were saying, they breathe new life into the Dante Inferno story. It's about afterlife. Detective Dante, it's funny. Detective Dante has a tattoo that's the infinity symbol, and he's chasing a serial killer. And every time he's about to catch this serial killer, the serial killer offs himself, goes to hell, climbs through the 9 gates of hell, pops back out, and starts killing again. Yeah. So Dante chases this man through the 9 gates of hell for murdering his wife.
Wow.
Yes, it is beautiful. It's an amazing story. Like, they know their stuff. It's got Cerberus in it. As soon as I seen it, I was like, oh, wow. They drew a really great Cerberus. That's the 3-headed dog, right? Cerberus?
Yep.
All right, just making sure. It's a beautiful book. Like, I actually want to get Andrea to send me the physical copy of that book because I liked it so much.
Well, you're in Florida. You won't have a hard time tracking him down because he's at like almost every show in Florida.
Right. Let's see. That's about it for that book. And I'm not going to spoil it for you, but it is definitely worth a read. And the only thing I didn't like, I wish they would have labeled like the 9 gates, because they go through different gates, and if you're not familiar with not even sure what it's called,
history or even literature.
Yeah, your hell knowledge or Dante's Inferno, you won't know what gate they're in or how far they've gone from the first gate. It's kind of doesn't tell you anything about the next gate than the previous. Yeah, you see subtle changes, but you really don't know the length that he went through. Like, I think that would show you the more of the journey if they'd have changed it so you could see each circle of hell getting worse and worse.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, actually. Real quick, Ryan Showers was the artist for this one, just because I wanted to make sure that he was properly given his due, because his work was actually beautiful. I did find art-wise, it had like this very dark, shadowy look to it. I really appreciate it a lot. It had like a 1990s kind of Michael Turner sort of look to it. I really appreciate it a lot. He's solid artist.
And what I loved about this book, I'm sorry, I wasn't being rude. He dedicated the book to his daughter. If y'all could see that, can you see that? Right, like
so. No, go ahead.
It about broke me down. Like, when you read the full story and know what's going on and read it, I don't want to spoil the ending, but then you see that then it's the ending of the book, then you swipe up and it's that. It'll break you down. Like, I'm a grown man, and it about brought tears to my eyes, because I don't know if y'all can see, I don't know if my kids are in this shot, but right there.
Yeah.
There's a picture of my kids. It's a long story. I'll tell you when we're not recording. But it really got me.
No, I feel you, and it's funny because this book, I'm actually staring at it right now, Andrea dedicated it to his father, and he said, "I miss you, Dad." And I'm like, oh, dang. So, yeah, no, I completely feel you there. Yeah, man, so that's cool. Did you have a favorite part of the book? Like something that really jumped out at you and you enjoyed the most, or?
Yeah, probably the third page in. Once when Detective Dante found the serial killer, and he just grabs a knife and cuts his own throat, and Dante grabs his gun and shoots himself. It's like, what? What is this? Like, I didn't know what was about to happen from there. I was like, why did they both just kill themselves? Like, this, what's going on?
It's because they knew what they had to do, I guess.
Right. Yeah.
For me, I would say my favorite part of this book was probably the family dynamics. Kind of seeing the father break down and watching the rest of the family handle it in different ways. And so I think that was what I most enjoyed about it, was seeing a tragic moment and how everyone handles it differently.
Right. Do you have Wi-Fi? Because you keep cutting in and out.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, cut that on real quick. Because I don't know how we might.
All right.
We might have to reshoot this.
Okay. Well, I am on Wi-Fi.
All right. Yeah, it's so much clearer. Move your head. Yeah, that works.
Should I just try not to move too much?
Yeah, when you move, it like cuts the camera in and out, like. Bip, bip, bip.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then I'll just slow down.
Yeah, I think that's it for now that I got. Any shout outs that you got? Thank you for coming on to doing the dual review with us. We're gonna get you back on more, and you said I could come on your show, so we're gonna see a lot more of Chuck if y'all like Chuck.
I would totally love that. Yeah, man, you can find me on YouTube at Chuck's Raw Reviews. I have about 35 different comic reviews that I've got up there and have done over the last while. You can also find me on Facebook, Chuck Pino, Pineau, at Chucky Pin on Twitter, and yeah, man, always doing all sorts of stuff as a writer and as an editor. So I'd love for you guys to check that stuff out.
All right. Well, thank you, Chuck, for coming on. All right. Later, guys. All right. And where's it say stop recording?
So do you just edit it afterwards?
Hold on. It's not saying anything about stop recording. What? My phone. I hope this didn't glitch out. I've had this happen one other time. Oh my god. Yeah, I did an interview like this with a chick, and it was like 30 minutes long, and she was talking about her cosplay, and it was awful. It kept dragging on. And I went to look at the video after, and it just didn't save. I was like,
no. Well, if it helps, it is saying on my end that it's recording. So yeah. At least you've got the video.
Mine says started recording. Starting recording.
Mine says Cody is recording the call. So.
All right, well, here, I'm going to hang up and I'm going to call you right back.
Okay, I'm good with that.
All right.